While national inquiries are a good tool for national human rights institutions, they're a way of addressing quite large-scale systemic issues of human rights violations. So with regards to torture, if you undertook a national inquiry investigating allegations of torture within a detention regime within your own state, it can bring the attention to the Parliament, to the government and to the general population about what the issues are and where human rights violations are actually occurring. So for example, in 2005, the Mongolian National Human Rights Commission undertook a national inquiry into allegations of torture within their detention-related systems. And the outcome of this process was a report that was presented to the Parliament, and the Parliament discussed the report and the recommendations for a full 2 days of parliamentary sessions. And as a result, quite fundamental changes occurred to the operation of detention centres in Mongolia.
All members of parliament very surprised at what is torture, why it's high levels, who is the used torturers, who is died, who is the victim of torture. We asked everything. I was happy. Because I think that time and finally maybe in all members of parliament understanding these issues, maybe a little bit change the law, change the situation, maybe provided financial support, it goes result. Legislation framework is changed, and also public awareness. We asked, what do you think torture is? And they said, once been in 50 years ago. Now not use the torture. Therefore, we prepared this 2 documentation program for the public awareness. Now changed in all people's nation. Yeah, because it's now lots of complaint sent into commission. This is changed then 2005. Now changed.
The immigration detention regime in Australia at that time was a very bleak one. There had been a surge in the numbers of people arriving by boat in Australia. The then government had reacted very strongly to that. In doing so, I think compassion went out the window, frankly. Kids were kept in detention in pretty appalling conditions. Well, everyone was kept in detention in pretty appalling conditions, and there was no end in sight. There was no defined period of time that people were going to be in detention, and that caused great feelings of hopelessness and frankly caused some serious impacts on people's mental health. One story which comes to mind, which we heard of during the inquiry, was an 11-year-old boy who, within the period of a month or 2, climbed into the razor wire 2 or 3 times and went on hunger strike on a number of occasions. Now, the key recommendation from the inquiry was that children should not be in immigration detention. We also made a number of other recommendations to require government to comply with its international obligations under the Convention on the Rights of the Child and several of the other UN conventions to which Australia is a signatory. And pleasingly, as a result of the inquiry and as a result of a deal of community pressure from refugee organisations, because we certainly didn't do it on our own, children are no longer kept in immigration detention in Australia. You can bring a lot of pressure. When I say you, I mean the Commission and community groups can bring a lot of pressure on a government in Australia by ensuring that these issues are dealt with in the media. And so one of the strategies of our inquiry, I suppose, was to ensure that the issues received and continued to receive media coverage. It's quite an important factor in the process of change.